And I get what people think about it. Like, our birthright was taken from us out of our own control. I understand that. And that's how part of me still feels. What's good, Ken Ganda? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the REPAT podcast. And we're here trying to solve all the Black world's problems, information on coming into Africa, moving back to Africa. And I'm here with my manager and my lovely co-host.
Yeah. Hi guys, the name is Janita Maya, presenter with Kinganda, manager with Kinganda, also do consultations on the side.
Not for free though. Gotta pay.
Yeah.
So the unapologetic nomads, we've actually interviewed them here on this channel.
Yeah.
It's brother, it's his wife, and I believe it's their daughter. Because the daughter just acts just like the mom. Mm-hmm. Shout out to them. They're in South Africa.
In Rwanda.
Well, they're traveling to South Africa right now. They're there.
South Africa. Okay.
So they've been all over Africa, Burundi, and the brother. I don't know what his name is. Do you know what his name is?
No, he didn't give it out. I just remember the unapologetic nomads.
Yeah. So the brother that's in he's a stand-up brother from what I can tell. Mm-hmm. He's really down with the Black cause and stuff like that, and also he's African American just like me. Mm-hmm. And but he feels like a lot of people that are part of the African American community that's in the Pan-African world, mm-hmm. that there should be a debt that not only white folks have to pay to us for reparations, mm-hmm. because they stole us and we work for them for free, but there's a debt that Africa needs to pay too. And I mean those countries that were involved.
Yeah.
And so blacks that are wanting to come back to Africa, you know, they should get citizenship. Mm-hmm. They should get free land. Some people have gotten these things based on certain chiefs. And I know in Ghana has been the case, but not really the case. I know we talked about this in 2020. We had a heated discussion off the record.
Yeah.
Tell them how you really feel about this back in the day.
That was, I think, 1 year ago.
Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. Kim was still living, yeah.
Yeah, but I think people have this, African Americans have this notion that, okay, I think it's true. Well, it is true that mm-hmm. African chiefs, sold them to the white people, and they're the ones who actually started slavery, and it wasn't the white people buying the Black people that started slavery. It was the African chiefs who wanted money and who were greedy, mm-hmm. so they gave out that people in exchange for a few materials,
right?
Mirrors, long time ago. When the white folk came with mirrors, Africans were like, oh, mirrors, and it's like
right,
something like that. But on the other side, I feel like they didn't know better.
Okay.
They didn't know better. I feel like their decisions were not well informed. Their decisions didn't come from a place of understanding. I think they just made a decision based off, oh, this is what I can get. And slavery has been, I don't talk about this because people may come for me. But it has also been on in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
If it's unfair, it has been on in the Bible. It was unfair when it happened to the Black people, and it's still unfair if it is still happening. But I also think it is unfair for some African Americans to place the hatred or anger on African chiefs.
Okay.
Because if you look back, with the traditional people, their thinking is not the thinking of now.
Okay.
They were backward in their ways. They had certain rituals and certain cultures that you look at right now and you're like, what? You actually did that?
Right.
But you have to think it's because they're from that century.
Right.
It's a long time. They did what they did. They were stupid for doing certain things, but you can't hold them accountable for something like that. I feel like it's an excuse.
Okay.
Don't come for me.
No.
I feel like it's an excuse because, come on. So because of African chiefs, selling the Black people, which is wrong, by the way, quote me right, please, which is wrong.
Okay.
It is very wrong, but just because something happened, don't think you're expected to be handed certain things. Okay. So now you want free land. Mm-hmm. Even Africans don't get free land, and they're born here and they're natives and they go through a lot in their own native country. Mm-hmm. They don't get free land. But you who has better resources where you are, you now want to come to like a third world country that is developing, that is struggling, and then you also want free land.
Okay.
Like instead of you pouring into the country or you doing something for the country, you just want a handout.
Okay.
I don't like people. I don't like
this is going to be an interesting episode.
I don't like people who just want free things given to them. You must work for whatever you get.
Okay.
You know, you must. There's nothing for free. There's a local quote. It's in for the Westerners. It's Rukundo Yampankuhe. It's just like love for something. Like for you to get something, you must give something.
Right.
It's not like just come here and like, oh, it's my birthright. Oh, and I need land. I could also go to my village and be like, oh, my ancestors were here a few years, so give me this land.
And will you get it?
No.
Okay.
They'll never give it to me. So you thinking you have a birthright to this continent is just wrong. You know, go about it the proper way.
Okay.
And try to apply for citizenship if that's what you want.
Okay.
You know, go about it the right way. Go to Interpol, get the letter, you know, do your citizenship, do the right thing. But for you to expect free things, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong continent. You're not getting anything.
Okay.
Especially if you come to Uganda, Ugandans would laugh at you.
Okay.
The president would laugh at you.
Okay.
For what?
Okay.
Free land because you're black and you think you deserve it.
This is gonna be a good input.
I'm sorry, I'm heated up, but free.
Right? No, I understand. Now let me ask you this, because before I kind of get into it, he also said, okay, you have countries. Now Uganda was never implicit in any slave trade dealing with blacks going to America.
Yeah,
I know it might have been like in the Arab world possibly.
Yeah. But
not here. So countries like Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, there were some Southern African countries that, like Angola, some of our interests come from there.
Yeah.
But like South Africa and Zimbabwe, they're not involved in this.
Okay.
But Ghana is a country that was heavily involved in the slave trade.
Yeah.
And in 2019, they had something called the Year of the Return. And you know, like everybody, Ghana is the number one country for repats. Whether they're African American, people from like the Great Britain are they're real deep out there. Shout out to my UK family out there. People from France, everybody's out there in Ghana. There's a big community of repats there. So this brother also said, and I've heard other people say that, hey, he's heard that countries like Ghana, like they're not trying to make the situation right, but they're making this money from the repatriation thing, the year to return. They're getting billions of dollars. They just want these blacks for their money. What do you kind of feel when you hear somebody like that, when you hear that kind of thing, that, you know, Africa doesn't care about what they did to their people that's all over the black world, in Brazil?
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of blacks all blacks come from Africa. So this, before you say this, Jamaica, Trinidad, blacks in the Dominican Republic, blacks in Brazil, they all were a part of the slave trade. So they're saying, hey, Africa is not trying to say, hey, you know, it was our fault. You are our people.
Yeah.
Because they run my DNA. It's going to say like 45% Nigerian, 35% Ghanaian. You know, we should try to get our people back. But instead of trying to do that and make it right, they're just trying to make money off of these people. How do you feel about that statement?
Look at the history. Look at. Let me just ask you this: what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of an African government, like the government in a certain African country? What's the number one thing you can think of?
Am I gonna get killed?
I know. What's the one thing that you can think of?
Corruption?
Yes.
Not Uganda though. I love y'all.
No, but
best country in the world.
But you have to look at the history. You have to see the patterns. What's the most thing that most African governments do? They're corrupt. They're selfish. They'll look out for themselves. So what does that tell you? If they don't treat their own people well and right,
that's a good point.
How are they going to jump all those hoops and then make sure you're well taken care of, and then of course they're getting money out of this? The repatriation, everything, they're gaining something. There must be some monetary value to them. They're not just doing this because they feel like, oh, it's now our time to give back or get back or ask for forgiveness. I doubt that. I strongly believe if there's any African country out there doing something nice to African Americans, there's a catch. You have to read between the lines. There's a catch. Okay. It's never free. Because if you look in Uganda, Akon came to Uganda and then he was asking the president to give him land because he wants to build, I think, Akon City. He wants to build Akon City and have his own currency like Bitcoin and whatnot. Yeah, those are still talks that are ongoing, and they're showing him that it's possible, but it's not possible. Stop.
Yeah, Akon is technically a Senegalese American, although he's grown up in around African Americans.
Yeah, but to also go back to like the Ghanaians, you say they have a direct connection to slavery because you know that the port. I think that some countries that are nearby the port where the people where the whites used to come on the boats and then take the slaves and whatnot. I think to a certain percentage, to maybe a 3%, they're doing it to ask for forgiveness. Yeah, but that could be, you know how there's like a prime minister and then like the assistant to the prime minister. Maybe the assistant to the prime minister is not thinking of giving back, but the prime minister up there is not thinking about giving back to anyone. I highly doubt it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've kicked off, really a lot of, and it's good we were having an honest conversation because I believe a lot of people in the African community feel like that. Like how you feel. And let me just say this, because before I started coming to Africa and interacting with Africa, I would see the things that our people are going through in America.
Yeah.
And the first thing you think about is like, damn, our people sold us.
Yeah.
So because of them, we've been dealing with this for a long time. Like, why don't we know them? We don't know where, like, we know where like my grandfather comes from, or great grandfather, or he came from Texas, but you don't know like where your great grandfather came from, right?
Yeah.
And so you look at countries like Israel, where like if you were from Israeli or Jew, you're automatically a citizen.
Oh.
So, and I get what people think about it. Like our birthright was taken from us out of our own control. I understand that, and that's how part of me still feels. But but things change when you not visit Africa, but you live here.
Yeah.
I lived here in 2020.
You did a whole year.
So I lived here. I'm thinking about any African president that is nominated his first year. And you have an agricultural based economy. You have, like right now, you got the kids are just now going to school.
Yeah. They had 2 years off.
2 years off. So you have a population where the intellectual development and processes are going to be laid back.
Yeah.
Okay. You have failing roads. You need investments. What is the last thing that you want to say? Even if you know that it's like, hey, we have our folks in the diaspora, even our own citizens in the diaspora that have left because of our mismanagement or the powers that be.
Yeah.
The first thing you cannot say is, all right, I want to give free land back to the people that have been gone for 300 years ago that we don't know. When my country that I'm currently having right now is in shambles.
Thank you.
You will never see another presidency again. You will probably have a military coup. Now, I keep hearing African Americans say the first African country that gets this right is going to win in the diaspora. That's not true. I don't believe that. The first country that gets Africa right is going to win. Now, how do you do that? This is going to be controversial, but I'm going to say it. If you are to give land to anybody or to help people do things, who do you give it to? Let's just say, for example, you're going to do that. Who do you give it to?
The natives.
You give it to the natives, but let's say, for example, if you want to do something for somebody else, you're going to give it to the most highly productive, best performing groups of people who has something to offer. Let me take you back to 1997, 98. This is an important year. Why? Because I believe around the 1994, 95 year, between that time, Nelson Mandela took over as president of South Africa.
Yeah.
Some of the first things that he did as the ANC took control was there's a documentary. I have to get it from, I forgot what the documentary is called, but we'll play it in the background because we'll get it in post editing. There's a documentary that Nelson Mandela was a part of. He gave the highest performing African Americans, those who went to Harvard, those who are really good in contracting, he gave them big $1 million deals. He brought them in to manage big companies to help the transition go to the Black Power establishment. Yeah. And it caused some strife because, these people were living like whites, but it wasn't so much strife because they were still black. So I look at how that transition went. And if you're going to give it you give somebody something, or give somebody an opportunity, give it to those people who have already proven to be highly successful. I don't care if it's Ugandan diaspora or anything. You give it to your best people. You do not give free land and free citizenship to Negroes working at Taco Bell. I'm sorry, you don't.
Yeah.
Somebody who's an underachiever in America.
Yeah.
You don't know. Because even if you do deserve it, that don't mean you're gonna get it. We deserve reparations in America. Does that mean you're gonna get it? The key thing is this. These people have to look out for their governments first. We, as much as that hurts us in the diaspora, like, yeah, I have to come back to Africa and go out through the red tape. I spent hundreds of $1,000s here.
Yeah.
Like, should I deserve citizenship? People tell me all the time, bro, you should get citizenship in Uganda, but I'm not there yet. Like, I have to continue to work.
Yeah.
But nobody's gonna give it to you because you have a point.
Oh yeah.
And that's the problem that we have. You know, we got to take emotions out of this and look at what are their people suffering. You're Ugandans and Ghanaians that can't get nothing, and they've been there for years. What we got to look about? What about them? It's not their fault that they was born there, and it's not our fault that we was born where we at. But as things are right now, you know, should you get free land and free citizenship when, like, how many of us know how to build these industries? Okay, farms. You look at most people who come back right now in the diaspora, out the black diaspora. Many of them are not successful. What does that tell me? That if you give those things to people, they're gonna come over and not be successful. You're now in a worse position than when you gave it away in the first place. And that's the problem, is that people want to think about this emotionally when these people have countries to run. This is me just being honest. If you want to come to Africa, nobody's going to give you free land, free citizenship.
Yeah.
Now, I do like what Sierra Leone is doing. Sierra Leone is saying, okay, if you trace this, then you fill out, like you said, if you can prove your ancestors come from here, pay the fee.
Yeah.
We'll give you citizenship.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And if you want land, then you purchase. That I agree with. But just to say, oh, we're going to give you this and give you that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to attract the wrong people who can't build.
Thank you.
And many of our people are not builders because many of our people work just like other Americans. We have good jobs.
Yeah.
Many of us are not building factories or farms or big businesses in America like that. Well, some of us do. Very many of us don't. And those people who do build those kind of industries, do they want to come to Africa? They're doing very well in America.
Yeah.
So those people who are talking about they should get those things don't have that experience. What you want to?
Yeah. What's the one thing you always tell me? You have to bring value.
You gotta bring value.
Yeah, you have to bring value so that people can see the value that you bring, and then you can stay around. You have to think of the long game,
right,
not the short-term game. Now, just to backtrack a little bit, I actually disagree with you because if we look at South Africa, fine, what Nelson Mandela did. You actually told me this story before. He did something in your eyes, it was okay, but in my eyes, was it okay? No.
Why not?
Because look at South Africa right now. Do you see the riots? Did you see the riots? Did you see that the people were, it was that, when you keep putting pressure onto something, into a balloon, okay, let's say balloon, with time it will get to pop. You understand? Those riots just got to show us what South Africa was. Fine, they have the infrastructure. South Africa is amazing. It's beautiful. I hope to travel there one day. And I'm speaking from a place of someone who hasn't traveled there before, But from what I saw on the media, those people were really tired. They were just waiting to go off, attacking the stores, and looting, the riots and all that. They were it's just like, let me tell you something. Every time you see a riot, look at the faces of people who are rioting. Those are angry people. Those are angry and hungry people. So however much you can say what Nelson Mandela did was, to a certain percentage, it was great, but then it didn't all of a sudden make South Africa this Zootopia or Wakanda
but
going on.
We gotta look at the people that, and it's not to be mean, but number one, look at the people who are bringing in. He's bringing a very specialized group of people with specialized skills. So our people, when we were coming over there, we were not setting up mechanic shops next to South Africans.
Oh yeah,
that's not what we were doing.
Yeah,
we were doing things that required highly specific professional skills.
Yeah,
stuff that required constructional engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, these things.
Yeah.
One guy was a Harvard MBA, which is it's the most coveted degree in the world to get.
Yeah.
So these people had specialized skill sets that they were very successful in America. They were not the guys that were coming up, set up a shop next to South Africa.
Okay, when you say it like that, it does make sense. But before my mind,
because like think about it, if you go to Gazaland, and the Chinese guy is selling the same stuff you're selling, then you're gonna want to whoop his ass. You're gonna have a problem with our Kenyan or Maasai person.
Yeah,
they're selling sandals next to you. Then now it's gonna be xenophobia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when the person that is designing the freeway to Entebbe Freeway, do you want to fight that person?
No.
Because they have a specialized skills that you don't have. So that's what Nelson Mandela was looking at, the fact that, hey, we could take our money to China, but let's build a bridge with the people who were supporting us when I was in prison, which was a lot of Black Americans. Which is during the apartheid regime, a lot of us gave our support to Nelson Mandela. That was one of his ways of saying, thank you. Let's build a bridge between your community and ours.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. If we can get that particular set of skilled African Americans to come on and do something with that skill set, then that's amazing. Actually, before we even run to the African Americans, how about the people in the diaspora who have learned something? You told me this. You told me in Nigeria, they used to send Nigerians abroad to go and learn something, then come back and build the country and whatnot. So maybe we can look at that avenue and then look at the avenue of also bringing on skilled African Americans to bring the change. Now, speaking of that, I don't want to sit here and paint Uganda to be perfect, because when Idi Amin sent away the Indians, he started giving out the shops that formerly belonged to the Indians to random Ugandans, and guess what happened? The economy crashed. Uganda failed as a country because he put people who are not skilled in certain positions. You know, and they were just, I think, parting away with the money, and basically the economy
didn't know how
crashed.
to reorder products and all that other stuff.
So there's also that point. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, Uganda is this perfect place. You know, there's room for improvement, definitely.
And that will be the same thing that will happen if you give it to African Americans who are untalented.
Oh, unskilled. And
that's the same thing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
They're gonna crash the economy. Yeah. That's anybody. So people don't like to hear me say that, but it's true. If you're gonna do something for people who understand, they have to understand what they're doing. So let me just say this. You said that let's go to the diaspora first. There are Africans who are presidents of historically Black colleges and universities that African Americans started. You see, what I kind of understand is, okay, let's go to the diaspora first. I get that. But when it comes to Black America, many of them get educated at our medical schools. Howard University, Meharry. We never say, you know what? You're a Nigerian American. You know, I know you have the grades, but let us take our African Americans first. No, you see all those Nigerian students and Ugandan American students who go to Howard, who go to Meharry, who go to those colleges meant for African Americans, and they're on there with their countries talking about Ugandan American pride, Nigerian American pride, graduate from Howard University Medical School. We're going to be real. I would say that, and that has to be both-sided, because there are a lot of Africans getting opportunities in Black Americans because of their work ethic also. We don't want to discount what Africans have done in America, because they've done very well. But they've done very well too because they had an opportunity that was open for them because of civil rights. And they benefited from that. What I want to say is, number one, we talked about why doesn't the diaspora want to come back here? I'm going to explain why. Talented Africans, Nigerians, and Ugandans, they have already had a sour taste in their mouth, some of them, from being in this country. So folks will never come back. For people like me, and I'm gonna talk about this in our next video, why is African Americans don't have so much of a hard time in Africa? Because we don't have that experience of the sour taste in our mouth.
You're not biased.
We look at, just like when Africans come to America, they don't understand our plight. Like, how come you guys are so lazy, or how come you guys are not achieving like us? Well, because y'all don't have our history with racism. So when I come to Uganda, the power goes out and stuff like that, but I don't have no history of like anything that's negative that you might think of. Well, I don't come here, I don't see nothing negative. I'm looking at it like, oh, it's a lot of opportunity for me to do what I gotta do. And I'm very successful here because of that mindset. So when African Americans come to America, we don't come with that sour taste in our mouth like maybe some folks in the diaspora that may have grew up here. Because it's like me growing up in Del Paso Heights. If you told me to go back there where I grew up, I'm going to tell you I have a very sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you rather live in Uganda? I don't have a sour taste in my mouth in Uganda.
Oh, yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So a lot of people in the diaspora have a sour taste in their mouth. So if not them, then who? Somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
And when you're telling somebody, well, maybe the diaspora can come out, well, who got to pay their way? Here, stop the show. Whether you Ugandan, Nigerian, African American, you gonna pay your way here. Okay? So it ain't like Museveni is gonna be like, hey, listen, we need y'all to come back. Here's $300 million.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do that.
Yeah.
He can't do that. He can say, I want you to come back at your own risk. So who gonna take that risk? Because it's not like we are gonna fund those people to come back here.
Yeah.
So I think like whoever comes, you have to deal with. Because the Chinese are gonna come if they don't come. Who would you rather have here? The people who don't, who don't look like you, and may pay you $50 a month, or the person who do look like you and understand your struggle and be more likely to align with you. I'm gonna ask you this: would you rather have me as a boss or some of these other people here?
I would rather have you 100%.
Okay, why?
Any day, every
Why?
day. Well, because it's so much better. You pay better than you can an employee. You mentor what most.
Or is it because I'm also black and I have an understanding and a passion for our people because of what I understand that black people go through all over the world?
That's right there.
There you go. So would you rather have people who see it from our lens? We understand the black struggle worldwide. So that's why I treat the people like I treat them, because I understand the problems.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody else that come in here and don't do it like that, not to say everybody gonna be like me, but it's I would rather have somebody from the black world who understands the Pan-African problem and want to help versus another person who don't.
Okay, I'd never seen it like, oh, okay, you're dropping.
Give me a bomb sound effect.
You're dropping some facts. But anyway, I think conclusion. Should I conclude?
You know, you give your last point.
Yeah. So my last point would be, if you're out there and you think you need to be given free land in Africa, shame upon you. This is my camera. Shame upon you. You should be ashamed of yourself. A big man, a big woman like you wants free land, free things. I'm sorry. You should be ashamed. Basically, you should be ashamed. You know, if you want to buy the land, come and buy the land like any other person. That no one is giving me free land. I am pressed. I also want the free land, but you see me out here crying about it. No.
And all that's going to do is create, like I said, more potential problems. And again, if you want to be in Africa, I understand situations, right?
Yeah.
But then here's what needs to happen. If you have a group that's coming in performing very well, you know, you open the door for other people to get things as things change. You have to prove yourself. A lot of times in the Black American community, we have these good arguments in that, well, people should give us this because, well, y'all owe us a debt. Well, white folks owe us a debt. Are they giving it to us? No. Africa owes a debt. Do I believe that? Yes. Because what they did, because the reason why you have a Jamaica and you have Trinidad and you have Black Brazil and African Americans is because Africa made a mistake. That part of Africa made a mistake. Do they owe you a debt? Yes, technically, but that's different as if you're gonna get it. You're not gonna get far thinking that somebody owes you a debt. I'm taking advantage over the opportunities, what I can do when I'm working with that. I'm looking at that. I'm not dealing with no hypothetical situations. Every day I get up, I have an opportunity to do something. My ancestors made it possible for me to come and have this relationship in Africa. Like my mom, my grandmother came from the South. Yeah. Like, you know, not too far from the antebellum South, or my great grand. They came in the Great Migration. So, you know, maybe 80 years after slavery. So I'm able to come to Africa because of the work that my people did. That's for me enough reparations for me. Yeah. You know, because somebody paved the way for me that I could not. And it's up to us as Black Americans to keep paving the way for our distinctive and unique group. And I'm talking to the African American community. Many people need to get off their ass and stop talking about what folks need to give to you and push the ball forward for the people who pushed it forward for us. We are not pushing the ball forward, making changes. We're sitting here asking and begging people what they need to do for us. I'm not saying that in that aspect, but instead of pushing the ball forward for the next generation to have it easier. Okay? And until we continue to do that, nobody going to respect you. People respect people who are going to come in and dominate. And that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
The African governments, if that guy wants to stay in power, he better not say we're going to give 20,000 acres of free land to folks in the diaspora.
It wouldn't end well. And
you're going to have people rioting all over the country.
Yeah.
Military coup. He can't do that. Even if he believes in his heart, it's the right thing to do.
With the mentality of the president, if you watch his interviews and the way he talks, he can't. I don't want to say anything bad about him.
But the African presidents, they know when they see us in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Those who really love Africa, they know that mistake was made. They know they f***ed up.
Yeah.
They know that their ancestors f***ed up. You think Ghana don't know that? Nigeria don't know that? They see in their people. Like say we look at the Olympics. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, all the blacks playing for America. Those are blacks who should be paying for Nigeria.
Yeah.
But we play for the white folks. Every time Africa sees somebody great in television anywhere in the world, Jamaica, Africa, we're saying these are our people that should be here. They know us.
Yeah.
But that right cannot be made wrong over free land and free citizenship. Because how you can give, I know, what if you give free land and free citizenship, you don't even like Africa? You know, there are so many problems here that got to be fixed. And you just can't do that and that's not going to help the entire country as it is. No country in the world. And I do know that America has given free land to certain people when they were building the country.
Oh.
That was true. That should have been given to us. But is that going to work? I just don't think so.
Yeah. Like you said, it has to be to a certain skilled people, not just any random person. Because what happened when Idi Amin gave the shops to the Ugandans will also happen to the continent.
Right.
It will just crash. It will just be like the end of something.
More tyranny, more people upset.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be one of those folks with free land. Like, if I got it, because then I don't, like, again, that causes, you see what the xenophobia.
Yeah.
But anyways, anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. Like I said, shame upon you for wanting free land. That's my last word.
They're going to get you in the comments.
It's all right.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I know it's a tough conversation trying to have them. What do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Dick Jackson here on the King Ghana REPAT podcast. And as you know, King Ghana forever, we out.